Yeah, man! Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you chicken broad beans stew. Alright, so you're gonna need a 400 gram of broad beans. You can use butter beans instead. Stalk of scallion, spring of thyme, 1 carrot, an onion, medium-sized onion, small tomato, ketchup, about 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and about 4 tablespoons of oil, cooking oil, coconut oil, and a teaspoon of salt, sea salt, and chicken breast, herbs, parsley, and basil. And I didn't say right here, but you're gonna need a 1/4 teaspoon of dried pimento berries, a tablespoon of wine vinegar or distilled white vinegar, and also a tablespoon of cooking wine. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. Scallion. Cut off ends. Remove dying leaves. Cut the tip of the leaf that's dying and the root end. Spring of thyme. Peel garlic cloves, cut off ends, and trim spoilage. Carrot. Scrape the surface of the carrot clean. Alternatively, you can scrub it under fresh running water if you don't want to scrape it like this. Alright, cut off ends. I like to cut the onion in half. It's easier to handle. Peel onion. Remove just the brown skin or the brown leaf. The first layer of the onion is the strongest. Cut off ends. Now, get a bowl, add enough water and several drops of distilled white vinegar in the water. Rinse your vegetables clean. Or wash your vegetables clean. Then give your vegetables a final rinse under fresh running water. It's best if you do this part under fresh running water. Next, open this can of broad beans. You can use butter beans instead. Use your opener, open the can. If you want to do it like me, just remember, cut away from you. Alright, once you do that, remove the syrup that's in the beans, that's in the can of beans. Now, drizzle several drops of distilled white vinegar in the can, then rinse the beans 2 or 3 times with fresh running water. Do what I'm doing. Just be mindful, the cut can cut you. I would say don't use your fingers like me. Use a spoon or a knife to prise the open can. Measure and add 1 teaspoon sea salt. That's the tomato. I just cut the stem part. Now, dice scallion fine. Remember I said we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of pimento berries, dried pimento berries, and it's optional as well. Slice onion. Or you can dice it if you so wish. That's my spring of thyme. Grind garlic to puree. Keep ingredients separate. Remember now, keep the ingredients separate. Cut carrot sticks. I like to cut the carrot in half, then cut the half piece in half or 1/3. That way it's easier to handle. You just put the flat part on the chopping board and cut carrot sticks. Dice tomato in 1/8, or just diced tomato. Measure and add 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1 teaspoon of dried basil as well. Put your ingredients aside for later. It's chicken time. These chicken parts. So the best part to use for this recipe is the breast. You can buy boneless chicken breasts in the supermarket. Most of the breast is boneless, so you can buy a breast with bone and just cut off the breast part. This is 2 pieces of breast, chicken's breast. Drizzle several drops of distilled white vinegar, add enough water, and wash the chicken's breast clean. Usually, if you buy the chicken breast in the supermarket, they'll trim off the fat. But if not, just use a sharp knife and trim the fat and remove the skin. After that, give your chicken a final rinse on the fresh running water, then squeeze it gently, remove excess water. This one piece of breast has some bone on it, so we're going to debone the chicken. So do what I'm doing. What I like to do is put the knife between the chicken's flesh and the bone and then trim off the chicken's flesh. Usually if you put the knife right between the chicken's flesh and the bone and just cut in between it, it'll come off easy. Now, once you do that, we're going to cut chicken strips. You can call it chicken fingers or chicken tenders or chicken stick. But strips. You want some chicken strips or length as tall as your finger. Your pinky finger, your small finger. So because the breast is thick, you can cut that thick piece in half, and then you'll have this long piece, and then you just cut about 3 inches chicken strips or finger or stick. I'm using about a pound of chicken's breast, or a little bit less. Take a couple slices of the onion and add it to the chicken strips or pieces. Add half the teaspoon of salt and kind of massage it in the chicken strips. Cover it, put it aside for later. I did say ketchup. Now, put to heat a big enough saucepan. This is a large saucepan I'm using today. Put the stove gauge on 2. That's low. That's just below low. Just allow the pan to get hot and dry out the water that might be in it. After a minute, and there's no water in the saucepan, add 4 tablespoons of cooking oil. I use coconut oil. Oops, I think I put too much oil in this. I'm going to take some out. All you need is 4 tablespoons. The spoon that I'm holding holds 1/4 cup. So a little bit less than 1/4 cup of cooking oil. Because the objective is, once the chicken starts to fry, you want that oil to be flavored with the chicken. So you don't want to remove any of the oil. It's going to flavor the meal. It's going to keep the flavor of the meal. Allow the oil to get hot. The stove gauge is on 2 low. After a minute, and the oil is hot enough for frying, add chicken pieces or chicken strips, finger or stick. Remove these sliced onions and put it aside. We're going to use it later. Do not put it amongst the fresh vegetables because it touched the chicken. You don't want to cross-contaminate. You don't want to cross-contaminate, so keep it separate from the fresh vegetables. Now you add your chicken strips to the heating oil. Try and put each piece of chicken strips on its own little spot on the pan's bottom. The objective here is to slow fry. We're not gonna fry like we're frying chicken now. So that's why the stove is on 2, as you just wanna brown it a little bit. You don't want to brown it crisp. Alright, the stove gauge is on 2. Allow. After 2 minutes, I did move the chicken pieces. I just allow them to fry and brown a little on that side. So do what I'm doing now and go through and flip each piece on the other side. That's what you want to get. You want to get a nice golden color. Not dark golden color, and just a nice light golden color. So do what I'm doing and flip the chicken pieces. Try not to break it apart. And with the chicken slow frying, it also is gonna give it a certain kind of texture. It's gonna give it a certain texture. So it's just a method, really. We are using 1 tablespoon wine vinegar. You can use white vinegar instead. Alright, once you do that, allow. Or any of the vinegar. You use apple cider as well. It's been 6 minutes now in total. Let's go through. Just look at each of the pieces. Flip the ones in that need flipping. You just want to make sure all the pieces, or most of the pieces, have that nice light brown color. That nice light golden brown color. Alright, once you do that, just allow. That's what you want. You want to get a nice light golden color. 8 minutes now in total. This is what it looks like. This is what you want. Add your diced or sliced onions. Add your pimento berries if using. Do what I'm doing. Stir fry chicken pieces with the onion. And just allow the onion to saute. Now you add the pieces of onion that we took out of the chicken pieces that were marinating. You can add those pieces of onion as well. After a minute, add the diced scallion. The scallion is optional as well. If you have access to chive, you can use chive instead of the scallion. Allow. Stove gauge is on 2 low. After a minute, about 2-3 minutes now since we start adding the seasonings, add your thyme steak, your chopped tomato. Stir it in a few times, and kind of coat the chicken pieces with your seasoning, seasonings. See all that sauteing and that burning of the vegetables, creating flavors not in a bottle. Add the salt, and then add the carrot sticks. Stir it in, stir it in. Next, add broad beans. You can use butter bean instead. And then add the herbs. Measure and add a tablespoon of wine vinegar, and measure and add a tablespoon of cooking wine. I just forgot to add it, but you go ahead and add the cooking wine. It's going to make the meal. It's going to spruce the flavor up somewhat. And you can use distilled white vinegar instead. This is a half piece of Scotch bonnet pepper. You can use like a 1/4 teaspoon of shredded red pepper instead. Next, add 4 tablespoons, between 4 tablespoons of ketchup. This spoon that I'm using measures 1/4 cup, so half of the 1/4 cup. Once you do that, stir it in, stir it in. Remove the thyme stick. And watch the pepper. Keep the pepper on top. Remember now, you can use shredded red pepper instead. Use the pan's lid, cover the pan properly, and allow. It's been a full 12 minutes now since we start frying the chicken, since we start cooking. The stove gauge is on 2 still. After a minute between 2, this is what it looks like, and this is what you want. I can smell the aroma. Now would be a good time to remove the pepper. Stir your pot in, stir your pot in. That's it. Turn it off. We're finished. Just cover your pan. You can smell the aroma. Cover your pan until serving. Alright. Moist your stew up. Stir it in a few times and moist the stew up before you serve it. Take a scoop of this lovely chicken broad beans stew and lay it on a plate of rice. You can eat it with pasta instead, bread, rolls, even vegetables like lettuce, a lettuce salad. You can add a cooking wine. Use a cooking wine. This is chicken broad beans stew. It's new. Visit JamaicaDinners.com for the recipe. You should try cooking this meal yourself. Give us feedback when you do. I don't know if somebody already done this, but this is Miguel's Creative Cooking. It's a new recipe. Chicken broad beans stew. Chicken broad beans stew. Subscribe, like, and share. Touch the bell so that you can have first access to my recipes. My time. Like I said, I consider this recipe new. I've never really heard anybody talking about nor cooking chicken with butter beans nor broad beans. The flavor is lovely. I give it a thumbs up right away. It has a very unique flavor. It's definitely new, and it's a different option if you want to cook chicken differently. If you want to cook chicken in a different way, the flavor is very unique. The wine vinegar gives this meal a very unique flavor. It enhances the flavor. The herbs blend with this meal nice. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. You should try cooking this yourself. Give us feedback when you do. It's delicious. Flavorful. And I can't stop stress. It's different. I'm tasting the difference. The ketchup kind of blend the meal together. The wine as well. Carrot is crunchy. I'm speechless. All I can say, I'm enjoying this meal. You know what would be good with this meal too? Mashed potatoes. Let me tell you how I discovered this meal. I was home 3 days ago and I was tired of cooking chicken. I said I was going to cook salted fish or codfish with broad beans stew. I had a piece of chicken's breast in the refrigerator. It came to mind to add, like cut the chicken in little strips and add it to the saltfish while I'm cooking the saltfish with the broad beans. When I taste the meal in the end, it was extremely delicious. So I said I would share it with you. This is a tip. To give this meal a little different flavor, you can add a small piece of saltfish. While you're frying, you boil the saltfish first though, and you add it while you're frying the chicken pieces. At night, I was eating some more of this chicken broad bean stew, and the stew got matured. It tastes extremely delicious. You should try it. You must try it. And I know you're gonna give me feedback. You should try it. Give us feedback when you do. And I know you're gonna come back and say you loved it. Alright, bye.
Yeah, man!